Fellas, what we thinking?
Are they going to do a African heritage one?
See, that's where it becomes problematic.
And I'm just saying, and pick a luau day.
They're doing Irish Heritage Night.
I know, that's what I'm saying. They're doing the Irish. Are they going to do the African one and have little, tigers, bears, little monkeys? And then H&M can throw the little sweater on luau day and, coolest monkey in the jungle.
Okay, I'll let you box this one up after that.
I'm just saying it.
Welcome back to Out of Bounds. I'm Pierce Simpson. Today's episode will be jam-packed. We'll talk about a variety of things, including all-star reserves. But first up, we have Complex Sports Editor Adam Caparel. Adam, how you feeling, man?
We're feeling good right now.
Feeling good? All right. Yeah. See a little head.
A little bit. I'll give you a
little bounce, a little rhythm. Next to Adam Caparel is Mr. Gilbert Arenas. Gil, you trying to adjust your seat from Nate Robinson yesterday?
Yeah, he had the little midget sitting on my seat. Messed up my.
Okay. We glad to have you back, brother.
I'm glad to be back.
We thought you were gone forever.
I thought I got fired, man.
They was coming for your job.
I thought I got fired.
A little nervous, man.
I thought I got fired.
We glad to have you back. Now, today is pretty big in the NBA. Last week we had the NBA All-Star starters. Of course, there's no Eastern and Western team this year. It's kind of just a free-for-all where the captains pick. But today we'll find out the All-Star reserves, courtesy of the coaches. Now, fellas, we each have our picks. Cap, I'm going to start with you.
Okay.
Who are your Eastern Conference reserves? Who are you rocking?
We'll run through them real quick. I got Bradley Beal. I got Andre Drummond, who may be a controversial pick in some people's eyes, but he leads the league in rebounds per game. Also, we've seen a massive jump up in free throw percentage. Right. Give me Kristaps. Give me Victor Oladipo. And then the three other names that may be kind of be problematic for some people. I like Kevin Love. Think he deserves a nod. The shooting percentages for him are among his career highs. And
He's
the second best player in the Cavs team. That even though they've been a mess, I think he deserves an All-Star nod. I got Kemba Walker over guys like John Wall and Kyle Lowry. 21.7 points per game, 5.8 assists per game. He's got better advanced stats than John Wall, so give me Kemba Walker. And my final selection, the numbers and the stats aren't going to jump out at you, the traditional ones, but I like Al Horford from the Celtics because Celtics, best team in the East, obviously record-wise. And if you look at his advanced stats and the plus-minus when he's on the court compared to when he's off the court for the Celtics, he makes a massive difference for the best team in the East. So I think he deserves the nod.
Now, before I get to our resident NBA expert, I want to save his picks for last because I feel like these are going to be very unique.
They're going to be crazy.
But before we move on, I'll give you mine. I noticed you put Kemba Walker on there. Yeah. He's at the heart of trade rumors right now for the Charlotte Hornets. Charlotte has been well under 500 in the Eastern Conference.
Disappointment.
Gil, do you agree with Kemba Walker being on the list for All-Star?
Not at all.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. As good as he's playing, 21-3-6, you're 11th in the East.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's also played more games than John Wall.
You're 11th in the East.
11th in the East.
All right,
11th.
that's not. But again, his performance is not.
But I'm just saying, 11th in the East, and your stats are okay. They're not standoutish. They're 21-3-6. Yeah. Good job.
All right.
I mean,
again, better advanced stats than John Wall.
I guess he has been underlooked.
Advanced stats. What is all this? Fucking
value over replacement.
Them nerds, boy. Them nerds be just pulling stats from anywhere.
But I get
they be just pulling stats.
But to Adam's credit, though, I believe Kemba.
They're legit stats.
Yeah, he's been underrated throughout his entire career. I believe he's second all time in Hornets history.
I mean,
of points
if they were winning, I wouldn't be mad at Kemba Walker because he is that type of player.
Yeah.
They just haven't had good teams around him.
Right.
But I mean, when you're 11th and you're only at 21-3-6, your stats.
That's a little
more points per game than John Wall, but whatever.
Hey, but listen, you speak of that.
But John Wall has a legit score on his team.
He has better teammates also.
Yeah.
Go to
Very true.
your pick.
Very true. Very true. Because you're gonna be a little upset at my All-Star reserves.
Wait, he had Al Horford.
Hey, Al's been playing really well. You could make
the best team in the East. Yeah.
You have Al
Need more than one All-Star from the best.
You had Al Horford. Yep.
Al could have very well been a starter in the Eastern Conference. Very well could have been.
So is Judge Apatulia.
Bye. Good
I could have been one too. You let the fans vote.
My East reserves, I got Bradley Beal. He's obviously been trying to carry load with John Wall out an extended period throughout this season. I got Kristaps Porzingis, even though he's kind of tailed off in recent weeks. He's kind of wearing down.
Leading in blocks.
Leading the league in blocks, as you said, he's a unicorn. I got Victor Oladipo, easily most improved player in the NBA this season. I have John Wall, your young guy. I value pedigree, even though he's been out, numbers been down a little bit. I want to see the stars in the All-Star game. John Wall should be in there. He's one of the best point guards. I have Kevin Love, even though we're questioning his illnesses, according to Woj. I have Al Horford, your guy. No? Okay. I'll leave that alone. And Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry is one of the cogs in the Toronto Raptors. I want to reward them for being one of the surprise teams in the East. What are they, second right now in the Eastern Conference? Mm-hmm. I respect that. So I put Kyle Lowry in there. That's my East reserves. But what we all been waiting for, you know, he's going to come in hot.
Some bullshit on my page.
No, you don't. But I see one name that's interesting that I gotta know about. But Gil, give me your reserves.
I got Bradley Beal.
Okay.
You know, of course, you know, he's held the Wizards while, you know, John Wall was out. I'm going with John Wall.
Nice.
He's a, you know, steady point guard that's been through the ups and downs with the organization, and he's been a steady rock for him.
Right.
I mean, he's not playing as great as he did last year, but
he deserves it. It's the pedigree.
I mean, he's still an all-star.
Yeah.
Obviously, Victor. I mean, he's done showed his ass this year so far. You know, so he's a great pick. I'm gonna go with Drummond. I think besides Joel Embiid, he's probably one of the dominant big men in the East.
Yeah.
The White's coming around, but, you know, I'm going to give it to Drummond.
Yeah, he's playing with your guy Stan Van Gundy. He's upped his free throw percentages to, I believe, 63%, which is outstanding for him. The dude was airballing consecutive.
Yeah. I'm going to go with the Unicorn.
Okay.
I mean, he came out this year just on fire.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm going to reward it. Kyle Lowry, of course. You know, Cal's been steady. You know,
his numbers are down from past seasons.
But his numbers is down because the DeRozan's taking a bigger step.
Exactly. 1,000.
You know, so you got he's deferring a little bit. You know, you got to reward that.
And who's your seventh?
Now here's where it goes.
Yes. Let's see who you went with your seventh and final selection for the reserve.
Big Ben, baby.
Ben
Simmons.
Ben Simmons. All-Star Reserve.
I mean, it was the borderline.
Okay.
But, you know, at 16, 8, and 7, and your team is 8th, and you're in the playoff race.
Yeah. Listen, he's had an outstanding year.
I know he's had a very good year for a rookie, but I still think there are veterans that have outperformed him throughout the season so far that deserve a nod over Ben.
But to Gil's credit, when you look at those Eastern Conference reserves, it's all interchangeable because our last few picks were Al Horford, Kyle Lowry, Kemba Walker.
I mean, I guess you know that you know you got Kevin Love in there. Yeah, you're on that. You're on the Cavs, which are up and down. I mean, there's the last 2, 3 picks or. Yeah. It can be anyone.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, do you give Kevin Love the nod? And even with, the way the team is going right now, do you give it to, a rookie who's, been playing phenomenal. He's showing stability. I mean, his numbers are dropping a little bit, but that's because, Embiid is, taking on.
Because if you reward Embiid with the starting spot, you have to give consideration to Ben Simmons being a reserve. So I guess
you don't technically though.
I mean, you don't have to give Al. You don't have to
because of popularity.
But you don't have to give Al Horford or Kevin Love respect because their teams are at the top of the East.
I think you should though.
And you shouldn't give it to Ben Simmons?
I'm not saying Ben Simmons hasn't had a great rookie season campaign so far.
Yeah.
The numbers he's put up are really impressive. I just think other guys have done a little bit more and performed a little bit higher level so far.
I wouldn't be mad at Al Horford because when everyone was on the Kyrie train.
Yeah.
And, everyone was pushing Kyrie. They were 16 games. They won 16 in a row. It wasn't Kyrie. It was everyone else, and Al Horford was the lead of that. So, if I had to change my pick and take it back, I'll put Al Horford in.
1,000%. But we, all in all, I feel like we have some good quality Eastern Conference reserves. Well, Eastern Conference reserves. For the West team, Adam, of course, I'll start with you first. Who are your Western Conference reserves?
All right, I think the obvious ones are Clay, Karl Anthony Towns, Jimmy Butler, Russell Westbrook. I think you can't argue with any of those 4. And I'd also throw in LaMarcus Aldridge. I think he probably deserves legitimate consideration. Should be there. I think we all kind of agree on that.
Could have very well.
Where I'm going to swerve a little bit is I'm going to give a nod to Damian Lillard, one of the 4 guys averaging 25, 6 assists, and 4 boards in the NBA, and he better advanced stats than Paul George right now.
This
wow.
advanced better. this advanced stat.
The thing, but okay, you left off Paul George.
Yes.
From your
I'm
reserve.
giving Lillard the nod over Paul George because you look at the two of them.
But both should be on there.
Yeah, but listen, you have one name.
There has to be a name on there.
There's a name on there that he has ahead of. So you have this name on there instead of Paul George.
Yes.
What is that name?
And that name would be Mr. Lou Williams. I want to give a shout out to Sweet Lou, who has been playing out of his ass the last month and a half, basically.
Paul George could very well win Defensive Player of the Year, I believe. Top 3 in steals.
I want new blood in the All-Star game, okay? So I want to see Lou Williams posting up in LA. The game is in LA, all right? No Lakers making the squad. Well, actually, whatever. All right. But Lou Williams, a hometown guy for LA. I want to see him shooting from 35, 40. I want him just
over Paul George.
Yeah, I'm not mad.
And Paul George is from LA, and you come on. That's really a hometown guy. I love Lou Williams. He's had a hell of a season. He's kept the Clippers afloat.
He's been the best player for the Clippers team that's turned things around and now a playoff contender.
1,000%. But an All-Star not over Paul George?
I want new blood in the game.
You know what's so funny? The Western Conference, it seems like we're going to have the same 6 players, and then it's just going to be one that's interchangeable. Who's your one?
That's great segue. Great segue.
I know, I'm trying to take your job.
Listen, hey, that was great. My Western Conference reserves, of course, I got Russell Westbrook. I put Damian Lillard on the list, even though he could be interchangeable, but with the name I have last might be the real interchangeable piece this season. Jimmy Butler, he's kind of revitalized the entire Minnesota roster. Karl Anthony Towns had a shaky start to the season. Once people started questioning his defense and his effort, he's really turned it up. And I think Joel Embiid roasting him on social media kind of got to him and lit a fire under him. Paul George, you have to respect with Kawhi out, he might be the best two-way player in the NBA at this point. I believe top 3 in steals. He's really leading the charge defensively for OKC. And much like I did with John Wall, I value pedigree, winning, success. I got Draymond Green on there. And I don't think I said Klay Thompson, but I have Klay Thompson as well. So Draymond Green and Klay Thompson to finish up my All-Star reserve.
Draymond Green?
He's had a down season, but I value pedigree.
I feel like the coach is definitely going to give him
pedigree.
But the numbers are not like
defensive player of the year, 2-time NBA champion, All-Star before. That's a solid resume.
He's only a 2-time All-Star at this point in his career.
And Dame Lillard is a 0-time All-Star at this point?
No, he's been there a few times.
He's been there a few times? Okay.
But he's been snubbed all of
the
years.
Hasn't been since 2015, though.
But I'm just saying, 11, 8, and 7, I mean, in the West.
Yeah.
I don't...
But he's been injured quite a bit.
I don't think he makes it this year. I'll be surprised if he actually did make it because his numbers don't reflect it. If they're going to hide him behind the winning and really put 4 Golden State Warriors on this year...
I can see the argument.
That is.
His shooting has been down.
I just don't think they really should. But
no, I'm with it. I'm with it in many ways. But Gil, looking at your reserve list, it seems rather strong. Give me your names.
I'm going to go with Paul George, LaMarcus, Karl Anthony, Klay, Jimmy Butler, Dame.
Yeah.
And this last name.
Wait.
Russell.
Yeah, Westbrook.
If you're a Russell Westbrook fan, you should be embarrassed. You should be fucking embarrassed to claim that you're a Russell Westbrook fan.
Why?
How does the MVP last year, Mr. Triple-Double, damn near averaging a triple-double this year, not become a starter? Fuck this bench shit. How do you not become, how are you a fan of this man and he's done something no one has done since the Big O and he is not a fucking starter?
But you're not an NBA.
Look, fuck that. OKC, all those fans in OKC should have been down filling out those ballots like Trump. Whoever is running against Trump next year, and you want that man out of there. That's how they should have been down there voting for this man.
But
that is no loyalty. You cannot claim you're a Russell Westbrook fan, and he is not a starter. That is sad.
But you kind of mentioned it a little bit. It's obviously fan voting. I believe at one point Lonzo Ball had more All-Star votes than Damian Lillard, who's a consensus on our NBA All-Star reserve list.
But Harry, you're the MVP last year. You're MVP. Where's his fan base?
Do you buy into the notion like Dame Lillard
plays in Oklahoma City?
Yeah, Dame Lillard kind of alluded to small markets.
But you know what's so funny? But little players think about that.
Small markets are.
Yeah, players think about that. So I'm sure in the future he's gone. I mean,
even though he re-upped for like 200 plus minutes.
Yeah, I want out. I mean, come on, you're getting snubbed in the All-Star game, and you are the dude. Like you were the dude last year, and you're still the dude this year. You're still top 5 in the NBA this year, and you're not a starter. That's embarrassing.
So as a player, it bothers you if you don't start as opposed to just getting to the All-Star game?
Starting is
that's what you want.
I'm one of the elite. The fans see it. Everyone sees it. That's what that.
Yeah, that's what. I get it.
I'm struggle in the Western Conference.
I mean, no. Them fans, them OKC fans.
You call them trash?
Fucked up. Get the fuck out of there, Russell.
All right, keep it moving. One perennial All-Star we didn't mention was Kawhi Leonard, and he's obviously been dealing with some injury issues, but maybe they're causing some drama in San Antonio, shockingly. So there was a big report from Woj yesterday and Michael C. Wright with ESPN describing, quote, months of discord centering on elements of treatment, rehabilitation, and timetables for Kawhi's return from the quadricep injury that's only kept him, or had him in the lineup for 9 games. Yeah. According to the report, multiple sources describe Leonard and his camp as distant and disconnected from the Spurs organization. So, Gil, toss up to you first and foremost. The Spurs came out and denied that. Yes, the alley-oop to you. The Spurs came out and denied it, said there's nothing to the story, but, you know, where there's smoke is there fire.
Sometimes. Yeah. I mean, you know, with Quad, it's one of those things is, you know, this is the first time he's had a real injury in his career. And, you know, as a competitor, you want to be out there. You know, so he probably got pushed back too fast, pulled it again, and now him and his team is probably going to say, you know, we're going to pick when we come back.
Yeah.
You know, who knows, but I don't think any of those sides are, you know, beefing.
Yeah. It's just surprising, though, because we consider the Spurs one of the best run franchises in the NBA. You know, almost no drama comes out of them. But recently we saw the, you know, LaMarcus Aldridge trade drama with Popovich. And now we're seeing, you know, Pop and Kawhi and the front office seemingly bump heads almost out of nowhere.
It might be, you know, it might be a confidence issue. I mean, you know, because he probably got cleared and he's like, I don't feel right still.
Yeah.
You know, who knows what's going on. And that might just be the little bumping of the head right there because it's like, come on, Kawhi, you know, you've been cleared, everything is fine. And he's like, I just don't feel right yet.
Yeah, Popovich, you know, I'm running the record saying that essentially Tony Parker and Kawhi had almost nearly similar injuries.
Yeah.
And we've seen Tony Parker come back and be fine, and Kawhi just can't get over this for whatever reason.
Because allegedly there's been reports that Kawhi is maybe seeking a second opinion outside of the team doctors.
I mean, that is the smartest thing to do, that you seek outside help because, you know, team doctors are gonna, you know, they're gonna be with the team more than they're gonna be with you.
Yeah. But what do you, I mean, you know, in your expert opinion, what kind of lingering effects is this injury and this drama, drama we put in quotation marks, going to have with Kawhi and the organization and Popovich?
I mean, everything. You're a competitor, you know, so, you know, everything is a challenge. You know, so if you guys have odds, this odds might last this whole season. With the two. Is it long term where he's going to be wanting to be traded? No. You know, Kawhi's going to be in San Antonio. Mentally, you know, it's one of those things. If he's out there playing and he feels that he can't contribute, he's looking at the status of his name, you know, his team. It's a little bit of everything. So he probably is like, you know what, I'm going to wait till I'm 100% to come back.
Did you ever bump heads with the medical staff and the coaching staff over your knee issues?
The medical staff, yeah. I stopped working with the medical staff and just worked with our strength and conditioning coach because, you know, I was getting misdiagnosed too.
By the team doctors.
So how does that work exactly when you get misdiagnosed? Is that more so like a personal thing where you say, Doc, I still don't feel right, and you tell me I was clear?
You know, because it's like one of those things. If it's 10 to 8 weeks, you know, and they were like, oh yeah, no, just tell him it's 6 weeks. you know, just tell him it's 6 weeks. Because if you tell him it's 10 to 8, he's gonna want to sit out 8. I mean, the 10 to 8. You know, it's one of those things. So it's like, you know, when you're getting that pressure to play, and you're like, oh yeah, it does feel good, you know, and then you go out there and 2 weeks later you're back out for, you know, 6 months.
And I guess that's in a roundabout way how athletes kind of get the label of being injury prone. It's maybe coming back too soon, they re-aggravate the injury, and now all of a sudden you're injury prone, you can never stay healthy. Yeah,
it's just one of those things. If it says 6 to 8 weeks, you know, 8 to 10, because you got to remember you're not a regular person where you're going to do regular activity. You're going to be jumping, running, you know, doing what you need to do. So you might need those extra 4 weeks to you know, to make sure that motor is
right.
And to actually get into game shape.
Yeah. Cap, from your perspective with the Kawhi situation, Gil, you don't think anything's going to come of it as far as trades or anything of that nature?
Now, once he feels healthy again, he'll be right back. You know, because it's team. You know, you don't the person upstairs. You don't really. You know, care too much for.
He's the cornerstone of the franchise, yeah. He's not going anywhere. I mean, I think I find it preposterous that they would consider doing anything with him.
Okay.
But that being said, when Woj is reporting on this stuff and you have that kind of detail in there, again, I tend to think that where there's smoke, there's definitely some fire.
That makes sense. And fellas, we're moving on to our next segment of Fair or Foul. And we have 2 NBA stories, and we'll let them talk about it and get their opinions. This is Fair or Foul. Fellas, big news yesterday in Milwaukee as former head coach Jason Kidd was surprisingly fired from his job of leading the Bucks. They're currently 7th in the East with the win last night. They were 8th for a while, 24-22, I believe. Joe Prunty, will be named interim head coach. Giannis Antetokounmpo was talking to Jason Kidd, trying to help him in any way, shape, and form to help him keep his job, but obviously the Bucks moving in a different direction. Is it fair or foul, Gil, for the Bucks?
Foul. You ain't even got to finish that. Just foul. It's foul. I mean, the organization themselves is just a fucking shit show.
Yeah.
I mean, you have 3 owners who just came in. That's too many cooks.
Yeah,
that's too many cooks in the kitchen. And none of the owners actually like each other.
Yeah, they're all hedge fund guys.
Yeah, they're all hedge fund guys that they can't make one decision on anything. I mean, the general manager they do have, Horace,
right?
Not one of them won it.
Right.
Not one of them actually won it. So when you have a general manager that you guys didn't pick, wasn't a finalist for it, didn't interview for the job, firing the head coach, there's just turmoil in the whole organization. Because when I look at the roster and I'm saying, all right, Bucks, 22, their record looks how they look as a team.
Right. And in the Eastern Conference, you can go on a 3 or 4 game win streak and move up to the 4th spot in the East.
Yeah, I mean, their team is just not, like when you look at the league around, everyone's 3-point shooters, everyone is standing the 4, you have a dinosaur team where.
Very true.
They're a bunch of drivers.
Yeah.
You know, so where they're going to lose games is exactly where this team loses games. Last 4 or 5 minutes where the floor shrinks and it's a half-court game. You know, you have you have Bledsoe and you have.
Because who's their shooters on the Bucks? Middleton and Snell?
Yeah.
Like that.
But they're not great shooters. So you got these 2 guys that love to drive the ball, but you don't have a go-to guy.
Yeah.
That last 5 minutes guy. I mean, you know, Greek is good.
So you don't think Giannis is that go-to guy?
No, he's not the go. Until he learns how to shoot.
He's not the killer closer yet.
Until he learns how to shoot a jumper.
Yeah.
Consistently, no, he's not a go-to guy. Like, we all know you're driving. We're just going to sit in here, and that's why they're losing games. Until Jamari Parker comes back, who has that one-on-one game to play iso ball the last 4 minutes, they're not going to be a good team.
So the rumors of DeAndre Jordan potentially going to the Bucks, it doesn't even solve the issues.
I know. I mean, that's what I said. So firing the head coach for working with what he has.
Yeah.
Two-part answer for me. Foul that Kidd was fired before Jabari Parker comes back. You have to give him a chance to, work with the entire roster, especially one of the most talented guys on the roster. So number 1, foul on that. Foul number 2, they fired him at a pizza place in Milwaukee. What the hell are you doing taking Jason Kidd to a pizza restaurant in Milwaukee?
They got some good pizza in Milwaukee. I tried it. It's not bad.
That's right, but what is the firing for? What are you firing?
Well, they're disappointing right now. They're only 7th place in the Eastern Conference. They should be better than that.
But here's my thing. Why would you fire?
Who?
The Bucks.
The Bucks. But they
should be better.
Like I said, they can go up.
5-4 potential.
But that's our own expectations on the Bucks. Like Gil said, if we look at the roster, other than Giannis, what other stars would want?
Well, again, you hope you get Parker back around the AllStar break. If not, March.
Okay, before Parker. Other than that, this team shouldn't be in 7th or 8th place. I mean,
and also too, Parker's coming off 2 ACL tears. We have to be cautious. 2 ACL tears. We don't know how he'll come back after this.
I mean, that's what I think. We're looking at Giannis as being this great player that the team should be better than they are. No.
He'll be there soon, but
they're not.
He's on the cusp. He's on the cusp.
He's on the cusp of being good, but it's just like Kobe.
Well, no, he's on the cusp of being a superstar.
Yeah, when Kobe had that Laker team, and everyone's saying pass the ball, and he's like, for what? Look at him. This is it. It's the same team. Like you got the Greek, and it's like, look at the rest of them. Who the fuck are they?
Is it smart to fire the head coach that's close with the superstar that you're trying to keep in Milwaukee for the foreseeable future?
No, that's what I'm saying. It hurts that that you have to.
Right? It makes no sense to me. Like, Giannis is not necessarily on a long-term
I'm pretty
deal.
sure, yeah, it's...
He signed a 5-year, $100 million contract, I believe, a couple years ago. That, as we know in the NBA, those contracts run out quick, and he can move on to the next thing.
But teams like Milwaukee, they have no chance in winning winning championships or actually doing anything great.
But
let's just be honest. I'm pretty sure their best record ever was probably in the last 20 years, 49 wins, maybe. Yeah. Have they even broke the 50 mark in the last 25 years?
You know what I'm pretty sure of too? That Jason Kidd wears out his welcome everywhere he goes. So
he's done it.
Not really a shocker.
New Jersey, Dallas, Brooklyn, now Milwaukee. That's the thing.
Kid, man.
Listen, like you said, he has a track record of wearing out his welcome wherever he goes, and he's a great player.
Just saying.
I'm just saying. Yeah. Next up, look, Gil has
going to attack that.
He's a Hall of Famer, but I'm just saying as a coach.
I mean, if you look at, like you said, coach and player, that's what he does.
Hall of Fame coach. You just give him the chance.
He's a Hall of Fame player, not a Hall of Fame coach. He's a Hall of Fame player.
Yeah, let's get it.
Next topic on Fair or Foul is a little clash between your Washington Wizards and my Dallas Mavericks. John Wall called J.J. Barea a little midget. They had a little on-court verbal altercation. There was an injection in that game last night. Wall stated, "Just a little midget trying to get mad. I don't pay him no mind." Mind you, they have Barea listed at 6 feet. He's not close to 6 feet. Barea shot back and said, "I don't like him either," and then said, "I don't think any of his teammates." Is it fair or foul to call J.J. Barea a midget?
Fair. I mean, no, it's fair because I've called him one too.
You just called Nate Robinson.
And then I called Nate. Yeah,
you called J.J. Barea a midget?
Yeah, I didn't know I called Nate one because he's.
You just did on the show about half an hour.
I hope he don't hear that. He lift weights still.
He yoked up.
Yeah, he's yoked.
He's still in shape.
Like Barrera's one of those feisty guys that the only way you piss him off by calling him a midget. Little people hate that.
There's so many layers to unpack on this. Cap, fair or foul to call J.J. Barea a midget?
Foul. Jay-Z told us on Family Feud that midget is now politically incorrect, so that's a foul.
Listen, that's the
midgets are in what?
That's politically correct.
444?
Yeah, but okay. It's fair. All right. It's basketball court talking trash. Bam.
So anything
is possible.
So
if he's little, he's 6 foot, but he's really 5'3". You're a midget.
He's really 5'3". You're
really 5'3".
There's the NBA rumor, or myth, I should say, at this point, that Michael Jordan called Muggsy Bogues a midget, and that's what messed up his career. So
I'm pretty sure.
One of our top 11 trash-talking moments in sports history on Complex Sports.
Hey, that you can check that out.
You little
amazing plug.
You little guy.
Give him a knuckle sandwich. What's going on? Listen, that wraps up the latest edition of Out of Bounds. Fellas, we kind of on the roll this week. I'm feeling good so far. You weren't here
only Tuesday
on Monday. But.
Hey, you know what? I'm gonna pull a Trump on you guys.
What you gonna say?
I watched the show yesterday.
Oh, really?
Here we go.
Ratings, very bad. Very bad.
I'm shocked this guy hadn't talked about being 2-0.
Yeah, right.
But
that'll come tomorrow.
That'll happen. For Adam Caparell, Mr. Gilbert Arenas, the guy we're teaching how to be PC each and every day. I'm Pierre Simpson. This is the latest edition of Out of Bounds. We'll see you tomorrow. I think you call them technically little people. Yeah.
That'd be the appropriate term these days.
That's hey, little person.
Vertically challenged individuals.
I love how he says a politically correct term and still makes it seem demeaning. Hey, little person.
Little person down there.
You mean you didn't remember calling Nate a midget when you...
No, because the chair was low. So it's like, was he standing on it? Because I'm pretty sure he's supposed to put it at the height.
But to Nate's credit, he wasn't as short as I thought he'd be.
No.
Yeah, he's not as short as I thought he'd be.
So he's short standing next to all the tall guys.
Yeah, very true.